So today we're going to be doing a special video, and that is my personal top 10 favorite clones that I have in my collection. I would say at this point I have just about every clone mold that exists. I don't have every clone ever, and I'm nowhere near that. Who knows if I'll ever get there. But I would say I have at least at least one of every single clone mold that exists out there. At this point I have somewhere between 100 and 200 clones, I think. I've been collecting since 2005. I didn't start getting into clone collecting until the Revenge of the Sith line. And it's some of my favorite pieces of my collection. I cherish each one of them. I think Hasbro has made lots of great clones over the years. And it's nice to see that in the vintage collection, for example, many clones are starting to come back. And it looks like we're going to be getting a lot more in the future. And I'm really excited what it has to bring. But anyways, for my top 10 list, some of them might surprise you, and I'll get into that in a bit, but it can be for sentimental reasons. I've had them for many years, or I think that they're some of the best clone troopers that Hasbro has made to date. But anyways, we'll get started. We'll look at figure number 10 first, and that is Captain Fordo, or ARC Trooper Commander from the Vintage Collection, the first release. Captain Fordo is one of my favorite clone troopers of all time. I watched the original Clone Wars series back in the day, and these days it seems like Captain Rex is probably the fan favorite clone of them all. But if you were around in the early to mid 2000s, Captain Fordo was the man. And it's a great action figure overall. I'm really glad we got this. I don't have the extra armor on hand to show you from season 2. I usually keep him like this. I prefer him in his phase 1 outfit. But it's just a great action figure overall. This is one of the... I'm not the biggest fan of the Vintage Collection clone mold. Pretty soon here we won't be able to say it's the newest mold anymore, even though it is it is 10 years old at this point. But this is one of the few times I think this particular sculpt works very well with this action figure. I think it works better with the phase 1 mold than it does the phase 2. It doesn't have an oversized helmet, for example, and it's just really good looking. You can get a lot of good poses out of it. And plus, who doesn't like Captain Fordo? I've talked about this figure lots of times before already. It speaks for itself. It's a great figure overall. It's even some people's personal favorite probably from the Vintage Collection. And it has a lot to offer. It's somewhat expensive to get. If you are able to find one for a decent price, I would definitely get one. It's one of those action figures that I've seen it go for $20, $30 on eBay, free shipping, and then other times it's way up in the hundreds. So it's one of those prices that seems to be all over the place. It's not consistently high or consistently low. I actually got this particular one around 2017 for like $25 free shipping, brand new. So if you're aggressive about looking for it, you can definitely find one somewhere at some point. But yeah, that's figure number 10. Figure number 9's a very important one to me. I've had this one for 15 years now, 16 years or so. And that is the Galactic Marine. I've always really liked the Galactic Marines, and I can't get enough of them. I have like 5 or 6 of these at this point, but this is the very first one I ever got. And what was cool about these action figures is I can tell this is the first one I got because the scuff marks that they have on their helmet here are totally different and unique to each one. And the particular first one I have has this big black spot on his forehead there, and it's the only one that has that. And each of the Galactic Marines I have, like I said, are totally unique in whatever scuffs they have on their armor. Hasbro doesn't seem to do that so much anymore. Like the Remnant Stormtrooper has all the same exact dirt marks and scuffs on their armor for each one. So it just shows how creative Hasbro used to be with their action figures, where each one was totally unique, and you could throw your particular one into a pile of thousands and you'll be able to point yours out because it's totally unique from the rest of them. It's a great action figure overall. It's a very heavy built, very solid plastic. It doesn't feel like it's going to break on you. It's not the most flexible action figure, like his hip articulation is kind of limited by his comma here. And he doesn't stand very well. You definitely need a stand for this action figure. He was released in the 30th anniversary line. I do have the coin with him in the coin book somewhere. I'll show that in another video at some point, and I'll review this one as well. He also has the removable helmet. It's all right likeness. Bodie Taylor, I think it is. But just has lots of great detailing on him overall. You can definitely tell he's seen some action. So I would highly recommend these for you. I think they're not extremely expensive on eBay, maybe $20, $30. So if you are able to find one, I would definitely recommend it. If you find one loose, it's probably even cheaper than that. I've seen some go for like $15. I found one a couple years ago at a comic shop, and it was complete but loose, and it was only like $10 or $15. So if you look in the right places, you can definitely find one if you're looking for one. So that's the Galactic Marine for figure number 9. Figure number 8 is the Clone Lieutenant from the Vintage Collection. Again, this is another example, one of the few examples I think where this particular clone sculpt works very well for this action figure. It was definitely designed for the Phase 1 clones more than the Phase 2. The helmet doesn't look too oversized to me. I think they got the color scheme very right for the Clone Lieutenant. And it's just a very striking action figure. I really like having this in my collection. It looks about as accurate as it can get. I don't think Hasbro can really change this too much. It is getting a re-release in the Troop Builder packs. It will have a different head sculpt underneath. The re-release is going to have a Tamora Morrison head sculpt instead. But I'm perfectly fine with this one. It's a good chance to get another one if you missed out on this the first time around. Unfortunately, this is a somewhat expensive action figure up until now, especially if you get this brand new. I got this, and this is one of the action figures that was released in the Lost Line packaging as well, so it had both the traditional TVC package and the Lost Line package. I got this one in the traditional TVC package. Unfortunately, I don't have that anymore. At that time, I didn't save my packages. I wish I still had it, but oh well. I'm glad I had the action figure at least. And this is one of the few clones where they actually did some silver detailing, I think, on his weapons. You don't see that a whole lot. So that's figure number 8, the Clone Lieutenant. Great one to have. Figure number 7 is another one I've had in my collection for a long time, and is Commander Faye from the Legacy Collection. This is it came with the wave where it was Bail Organa and his wife, and General Grievous and Stasa Lee, and I believe it made the I forget what the specific name of the droid was, but it's been reused as the Death Star droid, which I do have the original Build-A-Droid figure of that as well. But this clone is great. I really like this. It's very unique. It has very unique armor, I think. I haven't really seen armor like this on too many other clones, and it's interesting how Hasbro made it where the belt is over his tunic here. Has a very unique helmet as well. I think this may have been from the Combat or the Clone Engineer from the Battlefront 2 pack. I don't have that one, unfortunately, but I think this helmet shares with that same exact action figure. And it has a very unique head sculpt. I don't think I've ever seen another clone that has this particular type of head sculpt where it has the flat top. And I think it's really good. I'm sure there is some other clone out there I'm not aware of that probably reuses this type of head sculpt somewhere. I'm not sure though. I don't have it in my collection. Maybe if you know, you can let me know in the comments. But it's just a really unique action figure. I really like the color scheme he has going. He looks like he could fit in with the Combat Engineers, which is another release from the Saga Collection in 2006. Fits very well with that. And if you're looking for a unique clone for your collection, this is definitely one to have. I'm not sure what his going rate is these days. I don't really look him up too much on eBay. I imagine it's not the cheapest clone that you can get, but it's probably not too outrageous to get either, especially if you can find it loose. So that's number 7, Commander Faye. Next we'll take a look at number 6, another one that I showed recently in a top 10 video, and that is Commander Gree. A great figure overall, and one of my favorites of the 2008 time period. And again, this is another unique sculpt, I think. As far as I know, this is the first clone that uses the hinged wrists, which was a big deal at the time. And he also has hinged hips, which was also another big deal at the time. But it's a great sculpt overall. I can barely tell that he has a removable helmet. These days, Hasbro makes their clones where it's clear that it's very obvious which ones have a removable helmet and which ones don't because of the oversized helmet. But this one's not oversized at all, and it fits very well. And Commander Gree is one of my favorite clone commanders as well. I really like his color scheme. At least he didn't have to live with the remorse of Order 66, if he felt any. I really like how he has this camo scheme going. I do have the Phase 1 Gree as well from the Clone Wars line. It's a great action figure as well. But I think if you have to pick one Gree, this is the one to get. And it's one of my favorites. So it's figure number 6. It's Commander Gree. He does come with a stand as well. Back around the last few figures of the 30th anniversary line that came out in 2008 came with the Saga Collection style stand where it has his name on it, and it says Commander Gree, and it says Revenge of the Sith on the base there. Next is figure number 5. Another fan favorite among many people, and that is Commander Cody. Particularly, this is the Saga Collection one. I actually like this one more than the Legacy Collection / Vintage Collection version. I think it's another very well made action figure. They got a lot of the sculpting work great in him. They even got a lot of the gashes in his armor on the leg. The Legacy Collection one, I do have that one as well, but it just feels more flimsy. It looks good, and I'm glad I own it, but I think this one's more of a robust action figure. It's not quite as articulated, like he only has swivel shoulders, for example, and he has nothing in the ankles. But I don't think it really hinders his action figure so much. He can be put in the poses that you want to put him in. And he has a pretty good stance as well. Again, this is another action figure where I can barely tell that this has a removable helmet. And that's one of the best head sculpts I think I've ever seen on a clone. And they even got his scarring in there very nicely. And on top of that, versus the Legacy Collection version, his jetpack stays in very well in his back there. And on top of that, if you don't have this action figure, it's a somewhat affordable one. I see it go for like $20 free shipping on eBay a lot of times. So if you don't have a Commander Cody, or you can only pick one Commander Cody, I would actually recommend this one for you. It's affordable, it's a great action figure. You can do lots of things with him, and it will last you for many years. I've had this one since 2006. I got this for Christmas at that time, and it's in great shape. Unfortunately, I have seen a lot of samples that yellow really bad. I'm very blessed to say that up to this point, I don't have a yellowed Commander Cody. Hopefully it stays that way, but we'll see. It's a great action figure overall still, and highly recommend it for your collection. So Commander Cody's figure number 5. Next is another great action figure for number 4, and that is Clone Commando Scorch. Particularly, this is also the Saga Collection version. I do have the Toys R Us exclusive Delta Squad pack from 2011. I really like that pack as well, but I actually like this Scorch more than the other one. I think the paint looks a little more realistic. The other one, it looks too shiny. And plus, this one has a better footprint, I think. The other Scorch that came with that pack, he has a very small footprint. And he stands in a very awkward stance. This one seems more realistic, like he's going into a battle pose. And plus, I think on the Toys R Us version, it's missing his ammo that's attached to his leg. Plus, this one has a lot more scuffs and marks, I think. It's not as articulated as like the newer versions. Same with like Cody, for example. But again, you can put this in, the articulation this action figure does have can get you into any of the poses that you could possibly want them in. And again, it's another affordable action figure for the most part. I think I got this one for like $10 free shipping, and it was I got this I think around 2013 or 14 or so. At the time it was released in the Saga Collection, it was one of the rarest ones you can get, especially if you were hunting for the Ultimate Galactic Hunt action figure, which is actually what this one is. But over the years, it's stayed a consistently low price. Highly recommend it for your collection. If you're looking for all Delta Squad, you might as well go and get that particular pack. But if you're willing to hold off, or it's not that important to you, this is a great alternative. The rest of Delta Squad did get released during this time in 2006 as a pack in itself. Very expensive pack to the state still, and it does utilize a lot of the same sculpting work that this Scorch does, but this was the only one that got an individual release at the time. And Scorch is one of my favorite characters as well. Voiced by the same voice actor that did Carthel Nassi in Knights of the Old Republic. So Clone Commando Scorch is number 4. Figure number 3 is Commander Keller from the comic pack around the 30th anniversary collection, I think. To me, this is the best action figure that utilizes the airborne trooper sculpt. I really like the color scheme he has going for him. I really like this coat that he has. I just think it looks really good with the airborne trooper sculpt. Again, just the color scheme is very nice on this action figure. I'm glad to own it. Commander Keller is not the friendliest clone from my understanding. I have read a little bit about him. He was definitely very keen on Order 66 from my understanding. And I think he is part of the Galactic Marines as well. At least the other action figure he comes with is a Galactic Marine, which basically looks like a snowtrooper. Highly recommend this for your collection. It's not the cheapest clone you can get. I actually think I paid like $40 free shipping for the pack, which is probably not a bad price for a comic pack, especially one like this. But I have seen Commander Keller go by himself for like $40, $50 on eBay. So not the cheapest clone you can get, but if you have the cash to burn and you're looking to add more clones, this is definitely a good option for you. He does have a removable helmet as well. I think this has red eyes. Yeah, he has a little bit of red eyes there. So that's figure number 3, Commander Keller. Highly recommend that one as well. Next is figure number 2. This one might surprise a lot of you, but for me is the ATT tank gunner from the Revenge of the Sith line. This is probably one of the most affordable clones you can get to date. And to me, it's one of my favorite clones. This is one of 2 clones that utilizes this particular sculpt. And it's some of the best articulation I think I've ever seen in a clone. Unfortunately, mine has a little bit of a bad leg there with the plastic. It just doesn't want to bend too much. But you can get them in a very good kneeling pose if you have one with a good leg, that is. And he can just get lots of great poses out of this sculpt. I've never seen, between this one and the other clone, the 501st clone that was released at the time, this is some of the best leg articulation that we have to date. I think for not just clones, but in the Star Wars action figure line in general. I'm really surprised Hasbro hasn't replicated this over the years for either other clones or other characters for that matter, and it doesn't look out of place at all. It's not anything above the waist there, it's not the best articulation in the world, but again, you can get them in basically all the main poses that you could possibly want to get them in. It's all just swivels, like swivel shoulders and elbows and wrists. And you can take this piece off. I'm not going to, because I've had a hard time trying to get that in place as is. But what you can do is you could basically turn them into a normal clone if you wanted to. You could take this off. You might have to cut it, I'm not sure, but if you're not too sentimental with your action figures, you can certainly do that, and of course take this off, and you have a plain Phase 2 clone trooper. And it is one, like I said at the beginning, it is one of the most affordable clones you can get to date. Even in 2022, I see this go for like $8 free shipping on eBay. Brand new even. It's probably even less than that if you can find a bunch loose. So if you have $100 to spend and you're looking to build up a lot of clones, you could easily get almost a dozen of these probably for that $100. And it's just one of my favorite clones. I got this at the time during the Revenge of the Sith line, and I still have it to date, and I cherish it. So that's figure number 2, the ATT tank gunner. And number 1 probably won't be a surprise to a lot of you, but it is the 501st Trooper, particularly the first release during the Revenge of the Sith line. I actually think this was called the Tactical Ops Trooper during the Revenge of the Sith line, but it was also re-released along with the tank gunner, and it was re-released as the 501st Trooper, I think, if I recall correctly. It's the other action figure that utilizes this particular clone mold as well, where it has the very great articulation in the legs. Again, you can get him in a very great kneeling pose, and he has no problem standing up at all, as you can see right there. And it's very fluid joints as well. Nothing feels like it's going to break, but you can twist and turn these all over the place. I really wish Hasbro made more clones with this particular sculpt. Again, it's not the most articulated above the waist, but I don't mind it at all. I can get him in the poses I want him in, and it's just a great action figure. To me, this is the best 501st clone you can get, and it's very affordable too. I think you can easily find it for like $20 still on eBay, especially if you get the Saga Collection version. A lot of the 501st clones, especially the antenna mold and the vintage collection mold, can typically go for very outrageous prices, I think. So if you really need a 501st clone, this is definitely a great option for you. Like I said, I think this is the best 501st clone you can get to date. It has lots of great paint detailing on it. It's a great sculpt overall. I can get them in all the poses I want, and I don't have to break the bank to do it. Utilizes one of those first removable helmet clone heads as well. You can also take this particular shoulder piece off. Not sure why you can do that, but you can. I think you can on the tank gunner as well here. Let me check. Yeah. And this one has the Republic symbol on it. Hasbro used to do interesting things like that. Not sure why they did, but it was kind of like a nice Easter egg every now and then. But anyways, that's my top 10 favorite clones in my collection. I highly recommend all of these for your collection. And like I said, some of them were sentimental reasons. I've had many of these for 15 plus years at this point. Some of them, family has gotten them for me over the years, so I'll always cherish some of them. And again, these are some of the best clones I think you can get to date. I think it's really interesting how like clones from 2005, 2006, for example, still hold up really good today. And it'll be interesting to see what Hasbro brings with the new tooling for the Phase 2 clone that will be coming out here really soon. I think it's going to be a really good sculpt. Hasbro is usually really good with the tooling for their action figures. So who knows if it'll blow all these out of the park. But if you are able to find a lot of these, I highly recommend them for your collection. And what else is there to really say about these? It could be, some of it could be nostalgia as well. These were all from a time where you could find aisles upon aisles of Star Wars action figures, for example, and particularly clones. And I miss those days where you can just go to the store and pick up a clone anytime you want. I really think it's unfortunate in today's world how, especially for kids, they'll never really be able to go clone trooper hunting at the store unless you go to a comic shop. But even then, some of them charge outrageous prices for a clone. And from a parent's perspective, how many are really going to pay like $20, for example, for one clone trooper action figure, especially a 3 3/4 inch one? But back in the day here, like these two, they were like $5.88, I recall. And even then, parents complained. So I hate to see what's said in today's world. And yeah, that's really all there is to say about these. I hope you found this list informative and you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like a lot of these as well, or if some of them are your favorite, or what your top 10 list might be totally different, who knows. But anyway, stay tuned for more videos in the future. I have plenty more to come. I hope to get a whole lot out over the next long while, at least commit to one video a week. And if you hadn't already, please subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. And thanks for watching.